Before that, I would love to invite Tim up here this morning, and he's going to share with us an incredible testimony about what God's doing in his life, and it's really encouraged me when I heard it, and I hope that it has the same effect for you.
Thank you.
You bet.
I was told to stick to the script here. Dirk would beat me, so. I've got things going on in my life right now that I think a lot of people out here know about, and just want to share a little bit about that. And start out by saying that I've had a lot of different major medical events that have occurred in my life, which pretty obvious. I think anybody that sees me can tell that. From facial nerve tumors to hernias, I've had nearly every spare part removed from my body, and there's a lot of them I'd like to have kept. However, in one way or another, God has used every single one of these events that I've been through to bring me closer to Him. 7 years ago, I had a blood clot in my stomach, which required doctors to remove 97% of my small intestine. The amazing part is, actually, all the scars you can see, those are the small ones. The big ones you can't see, unless you come to a pool party. So 2 weeks after that surgery, when they decided that I was actually going to live, I was informed that because I only had 27 inches left of my small intestine, as opposed to the normal 27 or so feet that you're supposed to have, there were going to be two very serious issues that I was going to have to deal with according to the doctors. First, I was told that I would not be able to eat solid food again, ever, which anyone who has seen me on a Wednesday night meal here, or small communities, or better yet, a Mazzio's buffet knows that hasn't been a problem. Second, they said that my body could no longer support itself, so I was going to have to be on a permanent IV, have that implanted into my chest, and have it for the rest of my life. That not-so-permanent IV was then removed 6 months later, when, much to my many physicians' amazement, it became clearly shown that God is not bound by the limits of medical medicine. They said it couldn't happen, and yet it did. My body was working on its own. That incident alone has made me very aware that every morning when I wake up, when I swing my legs out of bed, I only do it through the power of God. Every morning, He is sitting there beside me. He always sits to my left. He knows I'm deaf in my right ear. He has His arm around me, and He supports me through each and every day. A couple of weeks ago, as many of you know, I was diagnosed with cancer. This diagnosis, as you can imagine, brought about many different thoughts and concerns. We didn't know how serious the cancer was or how far it had spread, and that lack of knowledge really amplified those worries. I went in for a CAT scan to determine if the cancer had spread beyond my lymph system. The doctor told me that the results of this test would determine if the cancer was treatable at all, what our options would be, if any. In the week that it took to get the results of that test, I spent a lot of time worrying and praying that the test results would come back with clean results. A couple of days prior to actually getting the results back, as I sat there on the bed with God's arm around me, I was praying to Him, asking again for clean results, saying, God, please let these results come back clean. He asked me, Tim, do you really think that the test results are that important to me? Do you think that there's anything in those results that's going to catch me by surprise? Are you worried that I intended to save you, but that a negative test result would mess up my plan? Do you think that the doctor saying that the cancer has spread will be too much for me to handle? The test results are important to the doctors for their treatment of you, but they have no bearing on my plans for you. I'm ashamed to have to admit that even after all that I had been through, and fully realizing that God was sitting right there beside me, He was keeping me alive in spite of the fact that medical science said that I shouldn't be here today. I had put God in a box, I had walled Him in, and I had limited my prayers to Him, to that which I perceived Him as being capable of. Instead of praying for a clean test result, I needed to be praying that my own heart and mind would be in tune with God and His plan for me. Instead of praying for that clean test result, I needed to be praying for God's grace, His power, and His peace. I also like to take this time to thank each and every one of you for your prayers. Kitzie, Mitchell, and I have experienced an overwhelming peace that can only be attributed to God's presence. And we know without a shadow of a doubt that is an answer to all of your prayers and prayers of people all around the world that we know are praying for us. We don't know where this road will take us going forward, but your past and continued prayers have had and will continue to have enormous results. And for that, we're eternally grateful. gracious and astounding, God's love so confounding appears to us in a cleansing flow of blood. The Son left throne of glory, bore the Father's wrath and fury in our stead. For the sins of all he bled. Stand in awe and worship, raise a voice in worship, come adore the King of kings and Lord of lords. Behold the Lamb in heaven, he was dead but God raised him from the grave. His arm is mighty to save. Now glorified and reigning, the keys of death and Hades in his hand. All hail the Lord of every man. Stand in awe and worship, raise a voice and worship, come adore the King of kings and Lord of lords. Stand in awe and worship, raise a voice and worship,